So, we've talked about the heat pump market in the UK. We know there's an issue with certain certification, bringing people through with training. Guys, just tell me something good about the heat pump market.
From a consumer point of view, compared to boilers, they're clued up. I mean, probably more than half, you'll probably find this as well, Damo, more than sort of half the people you get, they know what they want. I mean, you probably find people come to you because they know that you fit high-end products, so you've carved out a niche. So I think that's definitely a big plus point. People know what they want, and a lot of the time the consumer is almost as clued up as the installer. So they're coming to you as a warm lead. So I think that's a big plus point. Shall I save some answers for the next person?
No, thank you. Anybody else want to add something? Kimbo, over to you.
I think the best part of the heat pump business is that there's 21 million heat pumps got to be fitted. And if you can't make some dosh out of that, oh, that's money, by the way. If you can't make some money out of that, there's something wrong. There's never been a bigger opportunity to make some money in this industry. Problem is, we've got the wrong people making the money at the moment.
Thanks, Kimbo. Right, one for the installers. I'll start with you, DMO. Right, when you're fitting the heat pumps, and I'll leave this open, what is your biggest headache?
There's quite a lot. You then go to planning. We have to have planning for heat pumps in UK over 0.6 cubic metres, or if it's a cascade. We then have to apply to DNO, which is a network operator, and do a diversity calculation that's out of date by about 100 years.
So are we making it hard for ourselves?
We're just everything. Like, there's too much to do. In that point, you then got your siting restrictions, you've then got your noise assessments, you've then got the fact that a lot of systems are undersized already because all we've been doing is slinging combis in for the past 20 years. You've got the cost of upgrading that system. We've never valued heating systems in UK. I think that's fair to say. And now it's a major part of your own, you know. And now we've got to do all these upgrades. We undersize pipes, we undersize emitters, going away from item, getting people into weather compensation, longer running times. That educational side of it as well is really hard.
So why do you do it?
I love what I do. That's it.
People like you make a difference. Right, Rich, I'm going to throw. Rich, can I call you Rich? Or is it Richard?
You can call me Rich.
Well, I'll call you Rich. How the heat pump market is growing, what do we need to do to make sure it grows?
So, a long time ago, we started off in the UK with, it was a £5,000 subsidy. So, when you're trying to grow a market, and heat pumps are costing sort of £12,000 upwards, anyone that knows, you know, if you're giving away free money, people will normally take it. But the problem is when you're asking someone to commit to something, but ultimately they've got to foot, you know, 2/3 of the cost. It's just not something that's going to happen. So I think a few of us at the time, because we were talking about it at another event, and we said, look, you know, if you want to really get people to adopt this stuff, you need to put the money into it and put your money where your mouth is. And ultimately, what happened is government increased the grant to £7,500, but that still isn't really enough. I mean, if you're really, really serious about, you know, decarbonisation or whatever the sort of key driver is for that technology, you've got to put more money into it. And so that money has kind of been, I think it's kind of wasted on the rich, unfortunately, because what it does, it enables richer homes to have a product installed, and actually the fuel poor households that it would actually benefit, they can't afford the additional costs.
So from your point of view, what you're saying is increase the grants or have the grants, decrease electricity prices, increase gas prices, so it's heat pumps for all.
No, so that's not what I'm saying. So gas prices, if you increase gas prices, you have a lot of more fuel poor people, right? So you can't do that. But what you need to do is make sure that when heat pumps are fitted, that they're actually achieving decent COPs and decent efficiencies. Because if you don't, what you actually do is where you are getting government subsidies for like in the UK we have like an Eco4 scheme, when you are getting money for that and you are covering actually the entire cost of the heat pump installation in fuel-poor homes, what's actually happening, you're ripping out a gas boiler, but actually fitting a heat pump that's actually running less efficient than the boiler. It's running more efficient, but it's costing the homeowner more than what it did before.
Thanks for the clarity. I was just being a little bit facetious to make sure you were listening. Dom, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, can I just expand on that? I mean, it's an education piece as well. I mean, you look in the newspapers, and there was a piece you saw today that was shared, wasn't there? It's just like the miseducation. Heat pumps don't work. We know they work. It's just, you even hear it from other installers that don't fit them, in the merchants. Oh, I wouldn't fit a heat pump. If that's coming from people that should be pushing them, promoting them, then we're in trouble. So I think it's an education piece. It's leveraging the likes of Kimbo, Rich, Damo, all of their knowledge and greening it. You know, that's where it needs to come from.
Dom, I think you've been reading my questions. You can carry on with this. So as manufacturers, that's not just ESBE, that'll be Navy, Mitsubishi, heat pump manufacturers, gas boiler manufacturers, whatever it is, how can we make that journey better for the client?
Well, we just need to demystify it. So from a client's point of view, I mean, if somebody's going for a heat pump, it seems, as I mentioned earlier, they've done their research, but let's say there's a distressed purchase, you know, they might want a heat pump in a year's time, they're saving for it, because it's a costly purchase, isn't it? It's not the same as switching the boiler out. So,
depends what you buy, you get what you pay for.
Of course. Yeah, so I think we just need to bridge that gap, educate them, and if you've never had anything like that done, like Damo said, there's a chance floors might have to come up, pipe work might have to be upsized. I think there needs to be an education piece on that. You know, heat pumps don't work. We know they do work, but on the right system.
So companies like ESBE, who've got a strong following and do a lot of good marketing, could get a good message out.
Absolutely.
Sounds like a plan. Okay, Damo, it's over to you. Damo, can I call you Damo? Thank you. So, what considerations do you take on board when you're installing a heat pump? So, if it's a ground source heat pump, briefly tell me what considerations that you do. And if it's an air source heat pump, what are the considerations when you look at that project?
First and foremost, you've got to get a product that works for house, and with that customer's needs as well. As we touched on before, you've got to take into account your sound assessment. You know, what temperatures can you get it down to? What you want them performing well. And people are paying a lot of money for these, so in my opinion, you should be making them look good as well. You know,
Totally
that finished product, all from like your pipe work to your lagging, should be a nice finish.
Something to go with me plantation blinds back home.
Yeah, a bit of paint or something, you know, just make it nice. You know, some of these installs are £15,000-20,000 in an average house, which you're mentioning, everyone can't afford that, especially with how much fuel poverty there is in UK. So every aspect you have to get it right. Electric's expensive in UK, so if you get that wrong, they're going to be cold, they're going to have an underperforming heat pump, the bills are going to go up. It's not a nice situation for somebody to be on, especially when they're at lower end like market with household income.
No, it's just a really good point, right? I'll just look to the audience. Is everybody still with us? Yes, are we still listening? Fantastic. Just make sure you're there. Right, we'll just change the tap just a little bit. Dom does a podcast, which I've actually done with him. Dom, your podcasts are about renewables generally. Do you feel like you're getting the message out?
Absolutely, and it's a sales tool as well. The direction I want to take it in, it'll be more of a training thing, but equally, like I say, we want to get the younger generation involved, because we had this conversation off mic earlier, didn't we? You know, we've been saying for the last 20 years, we need to get the next wave through. I want to tackle that. You know, me and Rich are doing bits together. As mentioned before, you've got Kimbo with Warmer, really pushing the message out. But
So you mean like using FaceTube and TikTok?
that's them, yeah. Well, that's where the younger generation's at, isn't it? You have to go fishing in the right ponds.
Totally agree. Thank you. Right, Damon and Dom again, over to you again.
Right, so you are using ESBE valves, you're choosing ESBE valves. Obviously, the influence was a lot from me, being, you know, the poster boy of ESBE. Why do you use the ESBE valves?
Your KV values, KVS that you get through them, you know, you need higher flow rate on heat pumps. I think we need to get away from ball diverters, like you've got with some other manufacturers. I don't want to set names, but here, you know, build quality, and just like the whole package that you get, you know, it's like a family company.
So sorry to cut over you. Is it important to have a very good KVS on a valve with a heat pump?
Yeah, you're running high flow rates. You know, you've got shut-off pressures as well that you need to take into account. You've seen many times on some that have a standard ball diverter on a 10-12 kilowatt, it's snapping balls getting stuck. So you need to be able to get that flow. With a heat pump, you're running at 4 times more flow than what you would be with a traditional gas boiler.
Thank you. Kimbo, this throws me over to you. Oh, still awake over there? Kimbo, we're talking about KVS. I know you're passionate about your maths. Okay, Kimbo teaches a lot of maths and engineering here. Kimbo, the people you teach, do they grasp the importance of KVS?
Well, hopefully by the end of the day or two they do. The essence of what I try and get over is this thing called the index circuit, which I'm sure some of you know. Systems build up resistance, and the pump that you've got only produces so much pressure to overcome that resistance. And in my opinion, the name of the game is to make sure that the pump that comes in the heat pump itself is big enough to drive the entire system. That then means you've got the pump controlled by the heat pump, everything's going to run nice and smooth, everything's going to run at the right DT, everybody's happy, it's nice and simple. We have an expression in the UK, which probably won't work in Germany. It's called the KISS principle, K-I-S-S, which means keep it simple, silly. The simpler it is, the more likely it is to work. So where do these ESBE valves come in? Well, because of our rules and regulations, our heat pumps often have to sit at the bottom of the garden, maybe 20 or 30 metres away from the house. And so we have a lot of primary pipework pressure to overcome. And the first thing that we meet inside the house is the diverter valve. And again, as Damo was saying, we need to get a lot of flow through these things, and therefore they can create a lot of resistance. A KVS value will tell you how good the valve is, and the ESBE valves have a very, very high KVS value. And what that means is that the pump has less of a challenge to actually do what we want it to do. Last chance hotel, of course, is when you've got to use 2 pumps. As soon as you get into the 2 pump scenario, that's where all the troubles start, with different flow rates, buffers, and all the rest of it. So that's why I promote KV values. Personally, I think they're the best ones out there.
Thank you, Kimbo. Perfect. Right, we're nearly there, guys and girls. Okay, so one for you, Rich. You've started selling ESBE products from your distributor. Can I ask you why?
Why do we sell ESBE valves? So when I looked at the market, so obviously I assess markets and products for my own business. So when we looked at the ESBE valves, they had a low leakage rate, they had good KVS values, so we, low resistance across circuits, very reliable, good warranty, well built, everything you kind of want from a valve.
Fantastic, thank you very much. Right, okay. Demo, Dom, any good tips for installers coming through?
Be passionate, just be willing to learn, and go and shadow someone like Damo, learn from the best. Damo, Craig Brooks, get out there and do it. Get on as many training courses as possible, the likes of Kimbo, Rich, Seacon offer great courses, there's plenty out there. You've got to want to do it, and it's almost like learning a new trade, but it should be exciting. There's lots to learn. There's low temperature heat design.
Yeah, I think enjoying it, that's a big part of it. 5 years ago, I was just servicing gas boilers, so if I can do it, anyone can do it. You'll
Very
know
true.
that.
Very
I
true,
think
Demo.
Looking at, Kimbo took us at dark ages just on his own with his course, so that's essential. People like Rich and what Dom are going to do, another stepping stone. eGeek, what they're doing on markets, class. You've got people like Mario's doing videos, picking that stuff up and keeping an interest, and
So what you're saying is the knowledge is out there, the people's out there, you just got to reach out.
yeah, just help each other. I don't see why you can't do that. 10 minutes, 15 minutes of your time, take a phone call to someone, just could get them out of crap.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Right, guys and girls, I think you have answered enough of my questions. I'll open it up to the floor now. Anybody got any questions for the panel?
Hiya, thanks for that talk. Overall, would you say the UK has got a positive heat pump position?
That's a big question, isn't it? Define positive. The installers that want to do it really want to do it. We had this conversation again earlier. There's a lot of people on LinkedIn that want to bang the drum and push it, but like we said, there's that big education piece, isn't there, to swing the pendulum in the heat pump favour. I think it's happening. We're just behind the rest of Europe in terms of perception of them.
Market's massive, as you've probably seen yourself, and interest from customers as well is probably at an all-time high, that they actually want to engage with you. I personally like journey that you go on with customer now. You spend time with them, they want to know what you're doing, they're asking you right questions. I think it's been the best place it's been so far.
Very good question. Any more questions?